I could go to that fit one more time and add a tail, so I could import a tail. You can see that it comes in already attached. It'll just come up like that. It comes in a weird position because it was so small when it first started, right? You can see it gives it names, and I can pull those out and do all that if I want. So, you know, these work, and you can do that. Although I think most of you that are doing tails like that are actually going to just use the dragon setup or something like that. It still leaves that tail section there. Do you see that? So I'm actually going to just open the second version where I was. And just don't save. There we go. Still getting that error. All right, so looks pretty good. Let's do the build now. So build. There's just only one thing. And if I ever want to come back and rework with this, I can redo the building, but I have to first build it. So let's do build. This video is getting long. Perfect. So the cool thing that you'll see is that I got the clavicles, and I actually have IK control. So the last time I did this, I didn't have IK control because I built them separate. So by duplicating, I got that IK control. Not sure about setting these up so you get IK control by just building your own joints. They seem to only be FK, which is not bad, but it's cool. It'll be cool to be able to control the hands and everything and the arms with IK. The one thing that didn't come across with this method is I get a finger control here, but I didn't get one here, so that's kind of a bummer. So I have to manually manage all these fingers down here. So that's something to look into maybe. Cool. So it looks great. It's all set up. Let's talk about binding now. So remember, if I want to toggle fit, I can click on that. I can toggle the fit and go back to the fit section. It'll go back to half the character. I can reposition any joint I want, do anything in terms of positions or that kind of work, and then just rebuild again, and it'll come right back and make all the curves again. Everything will come back. So it's pretty awesome that way. One thing I can go in really quickly and just, I'll go to my front view here. These are going to be stuck inside the character, so I'm just going to use my move tool and just pull this out. Just use that. Just going to line up with that curve. Do the same thing with this side. Just so they're sticking out of the character, so when I go to work with it, I can see them. Just a couple others that are stuck in there, like the neck control. I think the FK neck control is kind of small, so it's hard to see. So, you know, if you're having a hard time with these, we talked about this briefly in the class, that I think Josh was saying that he was just moving and messing around with these to his heart's content. I'm not going to move that one right now. I'll just leave it for now. So he said that was really flexible, and so just go ahead and change those. Maybe a good idea to kind of get a little bit further ahead and see what you want to change before you make too many decisions that way. I just know I would definitely want to see those clavicles, or they're calling them scapulas in this case. Okay, so the next thing is deform. So if you look at deform, this is the first set. Your select objects to deform, then set deform, and then set smooth bind options. So I'm going to do this a little bit different because I actually know that the right eye and the left eye are going to bind in a way that doesn't work. So you might want to just reconsider, or you can. I ended up binding them all together, and then I had to unbind my eyes and then redo the binding specifically. So I found actually this has been the case since I first started using Skeleton5. So just watch out for this. I'm just going to actually just straight up, just knowing that's going to happen, I'm just going to grab the body. Those of you that have extra pieces and stuff like that, We'll have to rethink this. We haven't even cut the head off yet for blend shapes, so don't remember we're gonna be doing some changes. So I'm gonna cut this head off and then do blend shapes and then do this whole thing one more time. So let's be aware of that. I'm actually hoping to do that on the reference model, and I'm hoping that I don't have to redo all the joints and everything, but we'll see how that goes. So model selected. When you're in template mode, it'll look pink like that or peach. I'm going to select my deform joints. I'm going to set smooth bind, and I'm just going to use the basic binds. I'm not going to worry about it, but sometimes changing these up, we don't talk about this in the other class, but heat map for some people actually works a lot better. Don't overthink it right now. Just do the default. We'll do the closest distance, and we'll do bind skin. Let me show you one other setup that's kind of cool for that. So just a quick kind of way to deal with those things. So now if I select a portion, the character is going to update. So we're looking good. So we know that's all good. So it's actually bound. But what would be really nice is to be able to work with the eyes. And so what I found works better is, and I don't know why you can't just do it all at once, but it doesn't work. So I usually just click on one of the eyes, and then I just get a little bit close, and then I select the joint for that particular eye. And then I just do another bind, just to bind skin like that. Do the other eye. And just zoom in, grab that joint, and then just a regular bind skin. And now you'll notice that if I grab this now, let's go shaded solid, I can't see it, so, oops, there we go. So now if I move this, you'll see the eyes follow along. It's pretty awesome. Of course, you got these little interior pieces here, so you can grab these and we can move it one eye individually, which is kind of cool too. So there's some good setups there. So I'm going to do one more save scene as. Call this 3. And now what I noticed, I'm going to just set all of these to IK instead of FK. So remember when you select these little plus signs, you can go to the blend, and remember it seems like you should go 0 to 1, but in this case it's 0 to 10. So if we're at 10, we go full IK. If we're at 0, we're full FK. And what I noticed was that if I grab this, I'm going to get a pretty intense distortion on the body. Maybe not too bad. I mean, let's take a look at that. Okay, so just notice that, all right? So it looks good. Let's put it back. So I'm going to show you one quick way, and this won't work for everyone, but this is a quick way to deal with weights. Let's just quickly grab the head real quick and see if we have any rotational issues. Okay, do you see that? So do you see these little pieces here not coming along? Okay, let's do, I'm going to show you this one weighting method, okay? So when you look over here at these deforms, there's actually these different options for ways to create weights, okay? And this one's actually really powerful, this skin cage one. It works fairly well. It's a little hard to work with. Option 3 is this kind of like sub wrap thing. So there's a lot of different options for how to do this. Skin loops is a different way that they do this, and they actually have all these options. But this one's pretty awesome. It's called Delta Mush. And it takes a little bit of time, so just notice this. So select skinned objects. So we'll start with the body. And then it says, if you're ever having a trouble with this, you can always click on these little question marks and it'll open up. It says, it'll give you a little bit of information about what you're doing. Not really much, it just says for better results, for using hardened skin weights first. Makes sense. So most of these things in Skeleton5 are in order. So, I'm just going to click on hardened weights. You'll see it's going to take a little while. So you'll see down here. So don't panic. It takes a little bit of time. Okay, so the weights just got hardened. I honestly don't know what hardened means. And then you just apply delta mush, and you'd think this would take a really long time, but it just is really quick. And there we go, delta mush applied. So the hardening of the weights is what takes a long time on this. So let's grab that hand one more time and let's move it. I don't think it looks that much better, but it looks a little bit better. You know, it's not as crushed. See that? It moves, but it's not crushed, right? And so I think it does look a little bit better. And it's just a really quick fix for most of the problems. Let's grab that head curve one more time and do a rotation there. Still having a problem with those little pieces there. So, you know, I might need to do something with those little bits. But, you know, I found that this actually worked pretty well for most parts of this thing. I wonder if, let's go wireframe and see if, let me turn off those things that are curves. This is actually the jaw right here. Let's see if it, no, it doesn't look like anything. So jaw isn't even really connected to anything. Maybe the neck. It's grabbing something down here. So I'll need to go back in and paint some weights. And when we're doing the weights, you know, you need to make this thing selectable. And of course, paint skin weights. There we are. And, you know, there's all your stuff, right? And so, you know, your hip or whatever, and it's going to show all those things. So let's not get into that right now. I'm going to close that. See, there we go. Maybe temper. Sorry, just got a note. Okay, so don't get caught up in the weights right now. You know we got to do the blend weights or our blending shapes and stuff like that. So just let that little bit go. If you're really having a hard time with it, you know, I think the better way to do the weights is to remember vertices, select out that whole chunk, and window, general editor, component editor, smooth skins. We want the head, right? And basically you want the first one, and then there's a couple in here that are going to be underweighted, right? There's one right there, right? Set that to 1, close that off. And to me, I wouldn't do any more than that. Like that would be the maximum amount of effort that I would put into that. Let's grab that curve one more time, do a rotate. There you go. Done. So I'm gonna do one more save scene as 4. Cool. So that's saved now. So remember, if we look at the texture, you know, here's my texture. This is what it looks like. This is saved. I just saved it. So let me open up that reference one more time. Open scene. I'm going to go to ref 3 because that's what I'm using. I don't need to save that because I just saved it. Just going to click on that eye and go to my attribute editor and just go, I have an eye material there. And I'm basically just running a ramp on there. It's a circular ramp. You know, it's just, if you go to the material and, you know, I can pick something like that, you know, and it's just a ramp. They call, you know, a lot of you think of that as a gradient. It's just of a circular type, and I can get to that right there. And so, you know, if I move that, right, I can make that like that. If I click in here, I can add a color. So say maybe make this like a cyan, a little cyan ring, like that. And maybe I'll click here and you get some red in there. And then if you pull that up, you can start to see it present itself a little bit more for this side. Like that better, like we're just peeking through the red like that, so it's like kind of blurry-eyed. That's good. Okay, and so then I'm going to say, sorry, I'm zoomed in. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save over this. I'm going to save scene just right over the old one. Okay, say okay. So now it's saved. Okay, so I'm going to go back to open scene, and I'm going to open up. This is the reference 3, number 4. So this is my 4th iteration. So I'm going to say okay. Continue. Continue. And look at that weird error, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm just going to turn on my checkerboard so I can see it. And you can see that it updated just like we expected, right? So the change was made in the reference, not here, right? So this is going to update whenever I do anything to the model as a reference. It's going to update here because it's referenced, right? So that's basically it. You know, obviously there's a ton of stuff in here. A lot of these are actually for, you know, there are custom controllers. You know, there's a lot of stuff in here. I don't know, nearly half of it. There's some pretty awesome stuff here, obviously, but let's not overthink it. Okay, I think that what I've shown you right here is definitely enough to deal with for right now, and yeah, so I'm gonna save this up and send it to you guys right now, and I'll see you tomorrow or whenever. Okay.